it's me, y'all. Art drama is the best drama, and we got some, and I'm pretty excited about that. Also, we have to talk about some Gabbie Hanna stuff because there's a little bit of an update since her Red Table Talk. Some more drama going on with her as well, which we'll just briefly discuss before getting into the Logan Paul upsetting people because of an art project that he made. So those are our two topics for the video. And as we talk about these topics, I will be drawing this caricature cartoon illustration of Logan Paul. This is the first time I've ever drawn Logan Paul. I think it turned out pretty good. I experimented with some new techniques in this video, so if I do some weird things that you wouldn't do, just let it go. Please. I was just playing around, you know, with like the layers and all of that. I'm still learning Procreate, so it was fun though. But as always, I invite any artists or non-artists to draw along with me. Grab a sketchbook, grab your iPad, grab a notebook and a pencil just to make some doodles if you want, or just don't draw at all and just listen. That's cool too. We can just chat and hang out if you want. And I love asking you guys to send me your art on Instagram or Twitter at PaintandSipYT or on my subreddit r/PaintandSipYT, where you can send me your art or anything you like, YouTube drama, video ideas, etc. But here is a beautiful digital painting by Alzebra on Instagram. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. So go follow them if you want more art on your feed. And like, actually for real, please send me your art. I just really love seeing it and I love sharing it at the beginning of my videos. And just finally, before getting started, here's a shout out to my $5 tier Patreon members: Jasmine, Crystal, Maury, Lily, Fabian, Teal, and Evie. As always, your support means so much. And if anybody else would like to join my Patreon, I will send you stickers in the mail. I will send you downloadable coloring pages, all that fun stuff. And with that, let's get started. Enough of all that precursor stuff. All right, so I wanted to start off with the Gabbie Hanna topic, and then of course, as I said, we will then get into the Logan Paul art drama. So a couple of things about Gabbie Hanna. So there was kind of just like a short update after her Red Table Talk interview, and if you are not aware about that, Gabbie Hanna sat down with the Estefans for their Facebook show and talked about cancel culture. And I have a whole video about that. It's the video I posted right before this, so go check that out if you want more context. But otherwise, the update is that Perez Hilton reacted to the interview on his YouTube channel and gave some behind-the-scenes insight and some extra thoughts that I really wanted to talk about with you guys. So he basically verified some of the things that I thought. Like, I was saying that there's probably a lot of lack of research on production's part and on the part of the hosts of the show. And Perez Hilton on his YouTube video was like, yeah, the production, the hosts, they didn't know a lot about Gabbie, and they had like a rundown, but that the rundown was made by the producers who also don't know a lot about Gabbie. So that made a lot of sense to me, of course, since that's what I speculated before this reaction came out. And he also said that the whole show filmed for about 4 hours, even though the episode was only about 20 minutes, which obviously means there was a lot of discussion that was cut out. So we can really only talk about what we see, and there's probably so much that was said that just got left on the editing room floor, cutting room floor, whatever the phrase is. So I just think in general, for like those types of situations, it's kind of hard to cast judgment on people because you don't know what was actually said. Guys, have you heard this phrase, frankenbitten? This is a phrase that I, as somebody who lives in the Bachelor subreddit, knows this word, because The Bachelor is a show where they record for literally hours and hours and hours and hours and hours over the course of days to create a 60-minute episode of The Bachelor, meaning they cut out 99% of the content that they film, and they frankenbite sentences, meaning they will take half of a sentence that somebody said at one point and connect it with the other half of a sentence somebody said like maybe a week later to make a narrative that they want. They will literally create a sentence that this person never even said by taking words from different times and editing them together. That's what a frankenbitten sentence is. And when I was listening to the Red Table Talk, I could hear in the editing, you can hear the cuts, you can just kind of hear it if you know what you're listening for. And a lot of the things that Gabbie said was frankenbitten. A lot of the things that Perez Hilton said was frankenbitten. And I'm sure they weren't like being super shady and trying to create like a completely new narrative that never happened. We're still hearing things that Gabbie didn't exactly say word for word. Same with Perez Hilton, same with the hosts, same with everybody. And like I said, I'm sure the production team and the editing team didn't completely like make up whole new sentences that Gabby would have never said. I'm sure that the sentences that they edited together is just kind of like a shortened, summarized, like clean cut version of what Gabby was saying in whole. Like the sentiment was still there, but just in like a shorter sentence. I'm sure that's what their goal was, just to say like, we're gonna get this point across in as few words as possible instead of showing this entire 20-minute segment of Gabby going off on Perez Hilton. But like I said, still frank and bitten. There's still so much we didn't hear, so it's hard to actually be like, oh my gosh, this person is getting such a good edit, this person's getting such a bad edit. But you know, we're given what we're given and we can do with it what we will at the same time. Kind of giving both sides of the argument here. But I just thought that was really interesting, just kind of the behind the scenes stuff. And I did want to talk about it a little bit. And I do just want to say, it's just a little bit shady, but I do want to say, Perez Hilton, I do see you replying to all the drama channels in your replies for promoting your video. But, you know, that's how I found it. But yeah, I just think it's kind of cute and kind of funny that he's watching all of them and replying to all of them, and just wanted to point that out. I see you. And also, I just want to say, I'm so glad that instead of Gabby making drama about this, she's making drama about wanting to be with Pete Davidson. So, good on her for making petty drama that we can talk about and not serious stuff. And so I saw that Smokey Glow also did a video on this, and I also had a thought that I wanted to talk about, kind of around the idea that the viewers needed to do their own research to know about Gabbie Hanna, right? And let me just step back a little bit, because Smokey Glow obviously posted a video about the Red Table Talk. I watched the whole thing. I really agreed with a lot of what she said, but there was some things where I'm like, oh, I have some thoughts. I'm gonna write them down in my notes so I can say them on my channel here. So that's what I'm gonna do. So one point that Smokey Glow made in her video was, she said, for the producers to paint Gabbie Hanna as the victim of this situation is comical to me. And when Smokey Glow said this, it kind of was said during a part of the video where she was getting kind of heated and really passionate about the situation, about, you know, how the producers didn't do the research and how they were painting this narrative of Gabby, and how Perez Hilton called for the audience to do their own research because it's like this really important thing that we need to know all these things about Gabby. And then I kind of like took a step back and I'm like, wait, but like, is Gabbie Hanna really that important in the grand scheme of things? Because listen, like, this is a Facebook show, and the demographic of this Facebook show is Facebook users. And in my opinion, I don't think that Facebook users care about Gabbie Hanna or whatsoever. Nobody's gonna go do the research on her because they don't care. It's just they see her as, oh, there's this internet person, and then they're gonna forget about her. Like, I think for the producers to paint Gabby as the victim is totally expected, because that was the narrative that they were gonna push the entire time. Like, that was their agenda, and that was the narrative that was going to provide them the most entertainment value to their audience of Facebook users, their audience of people who don't know and don't care about Gabbie Hanna or her past. So why would the producers go through all this extra time and research to provide this accurate narrative of Gabby, when either way, the audience is either going to walk away not knowing who Gabby is and not caring, or not knowing who Gabby is and not caring? You know, either way, it was going to be the same outcome. So in their eyes, they're going to be like, well, we're going to go with the easier option, right? The producers are not interested in being like, we need to expose Gabbie Hanna. We need these Facebook users to know about what Gabby did. They don't care about that because they know the audience doesn't care. Anyway, I don't know. Let me know if you agree with that. You might disagree. You probably disagree. But if you do, let me know what you think. So that was my little spiel about the Gabbie Hanna Red Table Talk update. Extra thoughts that I didn't think of for my last video. Extra thoughts that kind of came to me over the last week or so. But now let's get into the Logan Paul drama. So you probably know, because I'm a couple days late on this. Okay, fine. I'm sorry. I took a couple days off for Christmas, and then I was catching up on Etsy orders and trying to organize all the crap that we got for Christmas. Not that it's crap, just a lot of boxes and bags and things I have to organize. It was a busy time the last week or so, so I'm a little bit late on this. You probably already watched T Spill's video. You probably already watched Spill Sesh's video on this, but let's get into it. Okay, if you don't know, which you probably do, but if you don't know, Logan Paul made a tabletop, and it was made out of epoxy resin and Game Boy colors, all right? And he posted a TikTok of himself making this, And basically, what people are mostly mad about is people are saying that he ruined these Game Boys, that he destroyed these rare finds, these, they're not being produced anymore, so like these are, I don't know, like I'm a gamer, but I'm a PC gamer, I'm an Xbox gamer, I'm a PlayStation gamer. I never really got into Nintendo, I never really got into Game Boys. I did have one as a kid, but like I'm more of a PC person, but I am a gamer and I am an artist, obviously. You know this by now. I hope. I just don't really get the anger behind somebody doing what they want with their own Game Boys. And I was trying to play devil's advocate for this. I was trying to put myself in someone else's shoes to try to see it from a different angle. So I was like, okay, what can I compare it to? And I was like, what else is like a rare item that you want to collect? What's a collectible? I don't know, like baseball cards? If someone had a bunch of rare baseball cards and they wanted to kind of do a similar thing, I'm sure people would be like extremely mad but I think baseball cards are a little bit more important than Game Boys. I don't know, because I'm not really sure about either of those things. Do you have a comparison that, like, if you put yourself in this person's shoes, maybe you could see it from a different angle? I don't know. Antique dolls? What else is there that someone would be upset if it was, preserved in this way instead of resin? I'm not sure, but I can see why some people might be like, oh, I don't like that. That is like really cringy to me. I can see how someone might think that. But at the same time, it's not a big deal. Sorry. Logan Paul bought these Game Boys. They're his, he owns them, and he decided to make an art project out of them. Now, if he bought them just to simply just destroy them or something, I can see why people would be mad. But you can't be mad at someone being creative, guys. You can't. And there's another thing people are upset with. People are upset that he is using epoxy resin because people are saying it's really bad for the environment. And there's this whole like kind of hatred against resin artists as a whole. I see it on TikTok all the time. People will get mad at resin artists because they're like, oh my gosh, everybody is making these tacky, crappy resin arts, and in 20 years, all the landfills are going to be filled with resin art pyramids and resin art trays and all of this stuff. Why are you so mad about it? And there's the environmental thing, obviously, and to that, my thoughts are kind of, why are you putting saving the environment on an individual artist? Trying to be creative, trying to make things with their hands, like, can't you take your environmental anger towards like companies and corporations and people like dispelling like loads and loads and loads of plastic into the oceans? Like, why don't you be mad at them instead of this literal one-person artist making resin art in their bedroom? I feel like the anger is just a little bit misplaced there. Don't know about you. But at the same time, I get people being frustrated always seeing all these resin art pyramids, trays, whatever. I have resin art. One of my good friends on TikTok makes resin art, and I buy it from her because I want to support her, and I really love what I got. Listen, okay, I'm about to like promote her shop, okay? So her Etsy shop is called Lost Nightmares, and she sells these tarot trays. So how it works is you purchase a mystery tarot tray from her, and she pulls a tarot card for you. And whatever tarot card she pulls is the one that she puts in a resin tray for you. And it's like special, it's personalized, and this tray was like a message for you. And like, I really love it, and I use it to hold my crystals. And I'm probably gonna keep it for the rest of my life. I know people are always saying, in 20 years, it's gonna end up in a thrift store or in a landfill. Not mine. I love mine. I'm never going to donate it to Goodwill. And again, Logan Paul's Game Boy tabletop, it's really, really well made. Like, the craftsmanship is really there. Like, it's really nice. It's beautiful. I don't think it's ever going to end up anywhere like that. Either he's going to keep it. I don't know what he plans to do. I don't know if he plans to sell it or keep it, but anybody who buys it is probably going to treasure that thing like crazy. I don't think it's going to end up anywhere like that anytime soon, especially because of how well made it is, And another point that I really wanted to push about this, okay, listen, the best art pieces always spark controversy, okay? And the fact that this tabletop resin art, this art project, is sparking so much discussion, the fact that so many people are making videos about it, the fact that it is making people angry is exactly what makes it a great piece of art. The discussion And the outrage is the extension of the art itself. So just a thought. All I'm saying is every year for 4 years when I took an art history class, every piece of art in our textbook that I studied in art history, especially the modern art history, especially the contemporary art history, almost every piece that I saw in these textbooks were pieces that were controversial, pieces that made people angry, pieces that sparked discussion about the art or the subject of the art or a certain topic. And that's what makes good art. It doesn't just have to look good. It has to spark discussion. Now, I'm not saying all good art has to spark discussion. My art doesn't spark discussion. I literally just paint dogs and cats. It's still good though, but it's not going to end up in a textbook. It's not going to end up in a museum. But I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if this tabletop one day ended up in a museum because of all of this, because of the anger, because of who Logan Paul is, etc. So, round of applause to Logan. That's my thoughts on that. Anyway, what do you think? And if you're still here, it's a lot of support for me as an artist, and it really kind of boosts my videos when you watch the whole thing, so I really appreciate it. Like, I'm actually serious. If you're still here, I really appreciate you. Please leave me a thumbs up to help out even more if you want, or a comment. Asking a lot, I know, but, and also with that, I just want to thank you again for tagging me in your art. And if you want to support me even further, my Patreon, my Etsy, all of that is linked in the description. And with that, I hit outro, so okay, bye.